it comes that time in the week when we go out to the left coast of the United States and check in with Michael Snyder to see what's happening in the film world. Michael?
Alex, greetings from Hollywood, everybody. Hope all are having a good weekend. And, well, depending on when you listen to this, let's get down to business. What do you say? American Made is the first one out of the box here. I am not a big Tom Cruise fan, but I am always ready to acknowledge when his particular brand of smarm and charm and star power is used to its best effect, which would be the mix of action, drama, and international thrills American Made. I think this is his best work and the best movie to feature him since the clever, exciting sci-fi film Edge of Tomorrow. And before that, maybe the ensemble drama Magnolia. I mean, this guy is not one of my favorites, but like you can't deny him when he's on the mark. This is some fun to watch, too. In American Made, which is inspired, as they say, by real events, Cruise plays the opportunistic pilot Barry Seal, who is lured away from his dull job flying for TWA in the late 70s when a CIA glad-hander, played by Domhnall Gleeson from Ex Machina, recruits him to fly reconnaissance missions over Central America. In a very short time, Barry attracts the attention of drug lords offering massive paydays, which leads to a more perilous series of assignments from his CIA masters. And it also means that we're going to see some kind of familiar faces, including Panama strongman Manuel Noriega, and, certain drug lords, some of whom have been depicted in the TV series Narcos. You know who I'm talking about. Anyway, Barry has to juggle all of this while keeping his wife and family together and living a comfortable life. I'll just say that he's bitten off an awful lot to chew, while the various factions he's dealing with have their own interests at heart. You know something's going to give. The movie covers covert activities from the Carter administration to the Reagan administration, and that means some familiar faces from the more sordid history of that era are going to pop up on the government side, even if liberties are taken with certain facts. The pace is somewhere between breezy and breakneck, the tension is intense much of the time, and the movie is actually quite witty. For all of you who may know about the events that inspired it, it's full of surprises and shockers. Doug Liman, one of my favorite contemporary directors, is at the helm here. This is the guy who did The Wall, about snipers in Iran, Fair Game, about Valerie Plame, The Bourne Identity, Swingers, and in fact, he did Edge of Tomorrow with Cruise. I knew I'd be in good hands, and so was Cruise, who shows why he's such a valuable commodity in the movies if given the right project, script, and director. I highly recommend American Made. Man, I'd like to have a good time at the movies. What can I say? A little more on the downbeat side would be Lucky, not to be confused with Logan Lucky, and this has turned out to be a lovely elegy for its star, Harry Dean Stanton, who, in what appears to be his last movie, plays that rare lead role that's probably not too far removed from the real Harry, who we lost so recently. Here he's an irascible but dauntless old guy living on his own in a desert town, ambling through his daily schedule of strolling around, smoking, drinking, and chatting, philosophizing and bickering with his friends and neighbors. I always found this wiry, grizzled guy, this character actor supreme, and rejoiced at his contributions to the recent Twin Peaks revival on Showtime, but that was kind of a supporting part in an ensemble series. Lucky is pure, uncut Harry, and I was happy to see him showcased here. I actually saw it maybe a month before he died and thought, man, he's still getting it done at 90. Seemed kind of fragile and at the same time invulnerable, and always charming and compelling. Plus, he has a great, if motley, collection of co-stars in Lucky, including, of all people, David Lynch, Ron Livingston, Ed Begley Jr., Tom Skerritt, and holy old-time pop rock and roll James Darren, the 60s-era rock singer and occasional actor who I haven't seen in a drama since he was, I don't know, he was like a hologram on Star Trek Deep Space Nine. Lynch and Darren are naturals, by the way, and they were terrific in this. I've seen him in other stuff, but this was creative and appropriate casting, directed by the burly, likable character actor John Carroll Lynch, Lucky is a small gem about a tough but tender old guy on his last legs, and in that, it's the height of poignance. Okay, what's next on the agenda? Wow, something a little more serious. Mark Felt, the man who brought down the White House, is a docudrama starring Liam Neeson as Felt, who under the name Deep Throat helped journalists Bob Woodward and Carl Bernstein uncover the Watergate scandal in 1974. There's an impressive supporting cast here, including Diane Lane, Michael C. Hall, and the great British actor Eddie Marsan in a very small role. I thought, wow, this is going to be great. I mean, written and directed by Peter Landsman, Mark Felt seemed like the right movie for the right time since it deals with a corrupt president, in this case Nixon, and the process by which his administration is brought down, or if you prefer, cleaned up. It's an inside look at the circumstances that led to Felt, who was a career FBI man, becoming the whistleblower known as Deep Throat. Again, he helped the press reveal the truth behind Watergate. Alas, it just plods when it should crackle and slither, even with the great Neeson playing Felt. I expected a lot more from what is essentially all the president's men from another angle that we haven't seen. If you're a buff for this sort of thing, it'll be worth your time, but it just kind of ambles along. Okay, here's a movie that doesn't. The sleeper of the week, and you won't fall asleep watching it, is Super Dark Times, a tight, tense look at teenagers in the suburbs of New York during the 1990s, specifically a pair of best friends who find themselves falling apart and falling out when a terrible tragedy happens. It's a first-time feature film from director Kevin Phillips, and it impressed the hell out of me. Even with the 90s setting, it really nails the way teenagers converse, fool around, and have yet to get a solid idea of right and wrong and of the potential fallout from bad decisions. The young actors are very good across the board, with special mention to Owen Phillips and Charlie Tahan as the two pals whose lives are upended, and Elizabeth Cappuccino as the girl they both like. The cinematography, editing, and the use of sound and score are impressive, and the ongoing promise of things going from dark to super dark keeps you glued to the action. Super Dark Times isn't quite super good, but it's damn good, and again, an impressive debut for this young director. Okay, let's slow things down and wrap things up with Girl Flu, which is available for streaming as of today, and it's basically about a kid who must be about 12 years old, living in the LA area, and she's going to have the most terrible time in her life when she gets her first period on the last day of a new school year. And it's very, very sweet. You don't have to be fluish to enjoy Girl Flu. It's one of the most engaging and funny and sweet coming-of-age movies I've seen in ages. And the movie reviewer in me can't be swayed by such things. I mean, if it sucked, I'd say nothing. But believe me, it's a sweet treat with a big heart and great performances by Katie Sackhoff as the kid's indolent waitress stoner mom, single mom, Jeremy Sisto as her boyfriend, the waitress mom, Heather Matarazzo, and the mature but totally beyond her years, Nickelodeon star Jade Pettijohn as the kid. I mean, you can catch it again via a slew of streaming options, including, I guess, Apple and Amazon Prime. Finally, Real Live is a thoughtful and a little low-key sci-fi movie from writer-director Matteo Gill. It's about a terminally sick guy in 2024 who's going to die, so he agrees to be cryogenically frozen until he can be awakened and cured in the future. And that does happen in 2084, and though the world has changed, some issues that he thought he left behind somehow have lingered to dog him. Tom Hughes plays the defrosted Mansicle, and he has a couple of talented, striking female co-stars, Charlotte Le Bon and Una Chaplin. Everybody delivers the gravitas. To its credit, it made me think of Black Mirror's expression of the personal and spiritual consequences of modern technology on humans, but it's also dedicated to the science part of science fiction. It isn't magic or fantasy. It's spare but inventive and definitely worth streaming. What do you got, buddy? Watching anything?
Well, first of all, I want to just mention Real Rob, its second season on Netflix with our friend Rob Snyder. And especially pay close attention to the 8th episode, the final episode of the run, in which the last 10 minutes was scored by Ennio Morricone, especially for Rob. and it's really it's a good little show. It's a really good little show. Yes. What?
Anything else in terms of premieres and such?
No, I mean Young Sheldon is so. Nothing much. Star Trek Discovery shows promise. Okay.
Right.
And I finally decided I'm getting to like the Orville.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. The last episode got really good. And I think it's going in the right direction. I'm beginning to get what he's trying to do with the thing.
So it's like a double dose of Star Trek. If you go to CBS Access, you can watch the new official series, and then there's Orville, which is kind of an unofficial Star Trek episode thingy.
Right. And it is in the beginning I hated it, and now I'm warming up to it. You know?
I just want to say that all your caveats about You're the Worst, the meanest sitcom on TV, can be thrown out the window. It's back to being mean and screwed up again.
Yeah, it's gotten better. Okay, it's not up to what it was, but it's gotten better. So
I'm also back to watching the Good Place on NBC, the Afterlife sitcom with Ted Danson.
I can't take that show.
Love the show. Anyway, that's it, I guess. You can catch me on Twitter.
Well, wait a minute. Let me start the theme first before you do that. Otherwise, we're going to have a long amount of music at the very end here. Go ahead.
I hate that. I'm at Culture Blaster on Twitter. And on Facebook, you can check me out at Michael Snyder's Culture Blast page and hear Alex and I talking, bickering, and what have you. And hopefully I will be back next week with more new movies.
Okay, thank you, Michael. And the rest of you just stay right there because there's more GABNet coming right up.